Sairam students, hope you all are fine and healthy. Today we will learn a new lesson in geography. That is lesson number 3, motions of the earth. That means the movements in which the earth moves. In this lesson we will learn about rotation, revolution, leap year, solstices, that is summer solstice and winter solstice, and about equinox. But today we will learn about rotation, revolution and leap year. Children, you know that everything in the universe is in motion. Nothing is stationary. That means everything moves. And our earth also moves continuously in the space. So, what are the motions of the earth? The earth has two types of motions, that is rotation and revolution. What is rotation? Rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis. Do you know, children, that the earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis, and the earth, it rotates from west to east. What do you mean by axis? The imaginary line around which the earth rotates is called its axis. What is revolution? The movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit is called revolution. You can see here the earth is revolving around the sun. So this movement is called as revolution. The imaginary line on which the earth moves around the sun is called its orbit. Now let us see what is orbital plane. Here you can see an example of a top is given. We know that the earth, it rotates like the spinning top, and the top we can see is having an iron rod in the center which helps it to spin. But do you think that the earth is also having a rod in the middle, in the center? No, actually it is just an imaginary line that we are imagining. There is no iron rod as such. Okay, so we just imagine. So the axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, it makes an angle of 66.5 degrees with its orbital plane. The plane formed by the orbit is called the orbital plane. Children, we can understand it more clearly by seeing these two diagrams. Here you can see the tilt of the axis. If you see the first diagram, the earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degrees on its orbital plane. And if you see the second diagram, we can see the earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees on the line which is perpendicular to its orbital plane. Children, can you tell how is the rotation of the earth responsible for causing day and night? Yes, the earth rotates on its axis from west to east and completes it in 24 hours. So, when the earth rotates, the half portion facing the sun causes day, and the other half remains in darkness, causing night. Thus, day and night is a continuous phenomenon because of the rotation of the earth. Now, let us learn a new topic. What is the circle of illumination? We know that the earth, it receives light from the sun. So, due to the spherical shape of the earth, only half of it gets light from the sun at a time, and the portion facing the sun, it experiences day, while the other half away from the sun experiences night. Now here you can see in the diagram given, you can see the circle that divides the day from night on the globe is called the circle of illumination. Now, as we know that the Earth's axis is tilted, isn't it? So, the circle of illumination does not coincide with the axis. Now, let us learn what is Earth Day. As we know that the Earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis. This is the daily motion of the Earth. So, what is this known as? This period of rotation is known as the Earth Day. Children, what would happen if the Earth did not rotate? If the Earth, it did not rotate, the portion of the Earth facing the sun would always experience day. That is, it would continuously warm only that region, and the other half would remain in darkness and be freezing cold all the time. So, the life would not have been possible in such extreme conditions, and the lives of animals and plants would not sustain in such harsh conditions. Children, we learnt about revolution of the earth. That is, revolution is the second type of motion of the earth. It is the movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed path or orbit. Now, if you see the orbit, you can see it is in an elliptical shape, isn't it? The earth takes 365 and 1/4 days. That is 365 days and 6 hours. That is around 1 year to complete one revolution around the sun. However, children, if we count 1 year is equal to only 365 days and ignore 6 hours for the sake of convenience. Now, those 6 hours saved every year, they are likely to make 1 day. We know in a day we have 24 hours. So, 6 multiplied by 4, it comes to 24 hours over a span of 4 years. Now, if we add this surplus day to the month of February, thus every 4th year, February is of 29 days instead of 28 days. And this year with 366 days is called a leap year. Now, let us recap what we have learned today in this lesson. We learned about 2 types of motions of the earth, that is rotation and revolution. Rotation is the movement of the earth on its axis, and the axis of the earth, which is an imaginary line, makes an angle of 66.5 degrees with its orbital plane. The portion facing the sun experiences day, while the other half away from the sun experiences night. And the circle that divides the day from night on the globe is called the circle of illumination. The earth takes about 24 hours to complete one rotation around its axis. It is known as the Earth Day. We also learned about what would happen if the earth did not rotate. That is, the portion of the earth facing the sun would always experience day, thus bringing continuous warmth to the region, and the other half would remain in darkness and be freezing cold all the time. and life would not have been possible in such extreme conditions. And we also learnt about the second motion of the earth around the sun in its orbit, which is called as the revolution. And the earth takes 365 days and 6 hours to complete its revolution. And for the sake of convenience, a calendar year is considered to be equal to 365 days. Every fourth year, that is 6 hours multiplied by 4 is equal to 24 hours. An extra day is added. Such a year of 366 days is called leap year. Children, we will learn more about this chapter in our next class. Now children, let's do an activity. Find out when will the next leap year be. I hope you all have understood this lesson very well. We will learn more about it in our next class. Thank you.